There was no listing for this Airbnb when I went back to find it. No confirmation email, no receipt. But I stayed there. I know I stayed there. I still have the scar. It started like any other trip. I was escaping the city, noise, people, the endless crushing movement. I found a listing that wasn't there the night before. Room 3, quiet, historic, secluded. No reviews, just one photo. A dimly lit room, washed in amber light, with a mirror so tall it scraped the ceiling. Something about it made me shiver. But I clicked book. I arrived just past dusk. GPS struggled to find the house. It blinked, glitched, recalculated 6 times before the trees parted to reveal their building. It wasn't quaint. It was watching. Dark windows like eyes sunk into rotting wood. A porch that creaked even before I stepped on it. When the door opened, it wasn't the host who greeted me, but a smell, something sweet, rotting, and old, like wilted flowers in stagnant water. A voice followed, thin, paper dry. Room 3 is up the stairs. Don't mind the mirror, just don't cover it, please. The host never showed her face, just the voice behind a half-closed door. Room 3 was colder than the rest of the house, the kind of cold that didn't come from lack of heat. It felt ancient. The mirror dominated the room. It wasn't just tall, it was wrong. The surface wasn't glass, it was too dark, like oil on water. It seemed to pulse, almost breathe. When I looked into it, the reflection was delayed, not by seconds, but by something worse. My double looked sad, like it pitied me. That night, I dreamed of nails scratching on glass. A slow, deliberate scraping. When I woke, my fingers were bleeding. 4 long scratches across my palm. I checked the mirror. My reflection was smiling. But I wasn't. On the second night, the house changed. The wallpaper in the hallway had peeled back, revealing not plaster, but walls covered in writing. Tiny words, scratched over and over like tally marks. I leaned in. They weren't in English. They weren't in any language I knew, just symbols. But somehow I understood them. It cannot forget. The mirror remembers. You are your own replacement. I stumbled back. A mirror hung at the end of the hallway. Not the one from my room, but it showed me standing there, smiling, and someone else behind me. I turned, no one, but I heard the whisper again. Let it in. The third night, I tried to leave. My car wouldn't start. GPS had no signal, no Wi-Fi. Even my watch stopped ticking. I went back upstairs. The door to room 3 was open. The mirror was no longer reflecting the room. It showed a black hallway, damp walls, flickering lights, and someone running, always just out of view. I leaned closer. My reflection blinked. I didn't. Then it stepped forward, closer. And as it moved, the surface of the mirror rippled like water. I heard it speak, inside my skull, not in my ears. You looked. Now you belong. It pressed its hand against the glass. I couldn't move. My legs, my arms, everything was lead. And then it stepped out. It wore my face, my eyes. But it wasn't me. I watched, helpless, as it turned, walked out of the room and shut the door behind it. I screamed. No one heard, because mirrors don't make sound. Now, I'm still here. I don't sleep. I don't age. I don't breathe. I watch. Sometimes, new guests arrive. They don't see me at first, just their own face in the glass. But if they stare long enough, they hear me. They always do. Tap, tap, tap. Let me out. But no one ever does. The listing? It shows up sometimes. Only to the lonely, the broken, the curious. It always says the same thing. Room 3 available tonight only. Mirror views, very quiet. So if you see it, don't book it. And whatever you do, if you go in, don't look in the mirror too long, because it remembers. And now, so do you. Elias Crane needed to disappear. Not forever, just for a while. After the divorce, the layoff, and the incident at the hospital, the silence of a cabin in northern Maine sounded like salvation, No internet, no neighbors, no cell service, no past. The listing was odd. It appeared between clicks, on a site he hadn't visited in years. Hollow Pines Cabin. Quiet, private, unlisted. No roads lead to it, but you'll find your way. There were no reviews, just one photo, a dim room, a stone fireplace, and a door at the back that had no handle. Elias clicked book now without remembering doing it. He arrived at dusk. The air smelled like wet earth and ash. The trees stood too still. There was no driveway, no mailbox, no signs of civilization, just the cabin, hunched like an animal waiting to pounce. Inside, everything was clean, but not lived in. There were no books, no dishes, no dust. The fireplace was burning already, as if the place had been expecting him. On the table, a handwritten note. "Welcome home, Elias. We've missed you." Your host. He hadn't told them his name. Elias tried to enjoy the solitude, but every time he moved something, even slightly, it was corrected. He left his boots by the door. Hours later, they were neatly placed in the closet. He used the bathroom and left the towel on the rail. Later, it was folded perfectly. He poured a drink and forgot the glass. When he returned, it was washed, dried, and gone. He chalked it up to memory, to the medications, until he found the journal. Not his journal. Inside were entries dated years before he was born. Pages and pages. Different handwriting styles, different names. All of them talking about this cabin. The walls hum at night. I heard knocking from under the floor again. I dreamed I was still here after I died. One name showed up again and again. Elias Crane. The dates were all wrong. One from 1907. At exactly 3:03 a.m., Elias woke to the sound of breathing. Not his own. Deep, shuddering inhalations beneath the floorboards. He lay frozen as it moved under him, slow and deliberate, dragging across the beams. He didn't sleep after that. The next day, the fireplace was lit again, even though he hadn't touched it. On the mantel, there was now a second photo frame. It hadn't been there before. Inside was a picture of Elias, asleep in the bed, taken from inside the room. He tore through the cabin, searching for cameras. There were none, but he noticed something else. The door in the back now had a keyhole. Still no handle. He tried to leave. There was no trail, no road, no tire tracks, just forest, endless, snarled forest that moved when he looked away. Every path brought him back to the cabin. The house had changed again. The windows were bricked up from the outside. The bedroom mirror showed a different reflection, not just reversed but degraded. Elias in the mirror had deeper eyes, smiled wider, moved a second too slow, and then the whisper came. Not from the mirror, from the walls. "We never left, Elias." "Why did you?" That night, the door without a handle creaked open a few inches. Inside, only blackness, and something watching. Elias found the hatch under the rug. It hadn't been there before. It was locked, sealed with wax and twine, and engraved with a warning. "Do not open until you forget who you are." He laughed, cried, maybe both. He hadn't spoken to anyone in days, maybe longer. He didn't know what day it was anymore. Then he heard it again, his name, spoken from beneath the floor, in his own voice. He opened the hatch. There was no ladder, just a slow downward spiral of stone steps and wet roots. As he descended, he saw them. Photographs, nailed into the stone walls. Hundreds of them. All Elias. All in this cabin. All aging in reverse, growing younger, until the last photo was of a baby, screaming, wrapped in a moth-eaten blanket. On the floor below, a wooden chair sat facing a wall of mirrors. Elias stepped closer and saw his reflection wasn't moving. It smiled. He did not. The reflection whispered, "You've come back. We're whole again." He tried to run, but his body stayed still, and his reflection stood up. The new guest. Weeks later, the listing reappeared. Hollow Pines Cabin Remote, quiet. Perfect for healing. Book now. One guest at a time. A woman named Clara books it. She receives a note upon arrival. "Welcome home, Clara. Elias has prepared the fire for you. Your host. Final journal entry. Author unknown. It keeps bringing us back, again and again. New names, same soul. We never left. We are the cabin. We are beneath. If you're reading this, it's already too late. You've been here before, and you'll come back again.